When women are really good at rap, generally they've tapped into like this tomboy era.
I remember being in 5th grade, you know, when you just gotta sit in the line to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
And them being like the boy line over there. And me being like,
oh, that's crazy.
But I'm a girl. Her voice deeper than Optimus Prime. Yeah, and that's on Megatron, Fall Back. Like,
you do a lot of very vulnerable TikToks, you know, with your husband. I wanna show you something. This is super vulnerable. You can just push play on this thing. Push play. Hey, this you already know where we going.
All right, Corey, where you at, boo? During this time, I'm like, yo, he ain't just my husband, that's God's baby. I'm talking reckless to God's child. I'm his wife. I'm his first line of defense. I guarantee you this man don't feel encouraged by me.
Teach a class now. Teach a class now. All right, so I'm gonna ask you this, and we can edit this if you don't.
I got you.
All right, you got to a place in your personal life where you was like, I gotta do something different. So why pivot and go your own direction?
You know, this is a touchy subject, Cray. It really is, because
this is The Deep End with Lecrae.
What's the deal, everybody? Listen, man, it's a hometown edition, man. We got somebody who is a veteran when it comes to lyricism. I have a high respect for people who can use their words in rap music the way that she uses hers. But outside of being a rap artist, a lyricist, she's a producer. Outside of being a producer, she's a mother and a wife and a leader. And man, I don't know. You may know her for a lot of different reasons, but if you don't know her, you gonna get to know her today. Ladies and gentlemen, we got LaNell Grant on the plan today.
I appreciate you having me, dog.
H-Town in the building, man.
Yes, Southwest to be exact.
So Houston.
Yeah, can't shake it.
Like for like next level Houston.
Like, and I mean, like Southwest is where I, you know what I'm saying, did most of my maturation at.
Yeah.
But before that, Harm Clark. Before that, 3rd Ward. Like, I'm for real.
We was trying to figure out earlier if we was related.
No,
seriously,
seriously. Like, we might need to like shake the family tree for real, because it's possible.
It's very possible. I wouldn't doubt it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, we want to know the story.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because those of us who are familiar with your music and familiar with, you know, we saw you producing, we saw you with Toby and Wigway, we saw you doing your vocabulary.
Come on, vocab bars.
You know what I'm saying? We see you doing all those particular things, your social media presence, but who is you?
Say, man, listen. Like, I for real am regular, degular. And I know some people feel a way about me saying that. Like, no, like, you know, you are this, you are. And I think the thing that I'm most proud of is that whatever list of things that you just named, I'm still just Nell. I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised. Ain't gonna give y'all the birthday, you know what I'm saying? But born and raised.
Grown.
And, like, exactly. And dog, I ain't start making music till like 25 years old, like professionally. Like, okay, like that's what I'm gonna do. 25. Before that, like Hooper, like been hooping all my life. And so I did, you know, like I did like rapping, like people be rapping when you kids. So I always rapping, always into that. But when it came time to go to college, I'm like, yo, ain't nothing getting in the way of playing basketball. I wasn't formally trained in no instrument or nothing like that. So went to college, was getting ready to graduate, getting ready to go teach and coach, and I just literally could not shake this desire to make music. Mind you, I'm not trained in no formal instrument. And I'm just not finna be a rapper. Like, I'm not finna do that. Like, I didn't see how that go for people. I'm not finna do that.
That wasn't your ambition. Like, I'm gonna be a rapper.
No. Like I said, I did the rap thing, like with, you know what I'm saying, with my people in high school. But then when it was time to go to college and go start your life, like I'm finna go do this. Like I'm not, and if I'm gonna do music, I'm not finna be out here. I was about to be hip. I'm not. Shout out to the people that, you know what I'm saying, I found this though. I don't want to be disrespectful, but like I'm just not finna do that. And so, but I didn't know anything about music. I didn't know nothing about nothing. Cray. Like, I really wanted to do it. My homie was like, hey, you know you can make music in the computer, right? I'm like, what? Say less. Both my mama and daddy computer technicians. So I'm like, if I don't know nothing else, I know a computer. So I get my little keyboard, like what I thought was a piano. I set it down in the middle of the living room on the floor.
Yeah.
I'm hitting the buttons. I'm like, dang, ain't no sound coming out. Like, what's up? I see the little printer cable thing in the back. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me put that to the computer. I get on the computer. It's like, yeah, you need a DAW. I'm like, what is a DAW? Like, so I literally at like 23, 24-ish, like from nothing to like taught myself how to make, like how to produce, how to make music.
So I have this, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like I talked about the music.
Yeah.
The music is phenomenal, right? You give encouragement to people who care about bars, right?
Thank you.
Outside of that, you do a lot of very vulnerable YouTube videos and TikToks, you know, with your husband. And you share a lot about so many aspects of your life.
Yes.
I have a lot of little weird theories. Okay, so
come on.
I got a lot of little. So first of all, I'm always like, when women are really good at rap,
Yes.
generally they got like they've tapped into like this tomboy era or something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it is, like an aggressive sport. So you almost have to be like an aggressive kind of woman, like generally. Like rarely, only the new school have I seen like a more like chill, like, hi, you know? But it's like rap is, so I'm just trying to figure out where did that come from?
Okay, so, you know, for me personally, because I think, you know, you get in trouble when you start generalizing everybody. But for me personally, rap is very synonymous with hooping. Like those two things go hand in hand. Like the same time I was learning how to hoop is at the same time I was learning how to put words together. And it just so happens that both of those things, especially at those points, were male-dominated industries. Yeah. So, you know, when you pick up how to do the thing, like that's, you know, that's where you pick it up from. Yeah. Now, like Glory.
You was a hooper.
You know, no, we weren't really talking about. See what I'm saying? Something. And it's really my pride, because I was good. Like, I was good, but, like, you know, there are people that was better. But I was definitely, like, that was my love. That's my first love. That's my heart.
You grew up as a kid hooping and, like, I guess because you talking about male-dominated, like, was you, like, even as a little kid, was you the little girl that was, like, out there roughhousing?
Listen, this little flare and this little soft area y'all getting, this new. Like this, you know what I'm saying? It's like, let me not say it's new, because obviously, like, I've been married for 10 years. And you know what I'm saying? My husband did find me in the club, and I wasn't in the club in no hoodies and no sweats, okay? But me tapping all the way into it like this, and like you saying, yes, this is just the evolution of, you know, like where I'm at in my womanhood. But for sure, tomboyed out. Like tomboyed out to the max. And I know what typically comes like with that story, but man, one of the most, like, the best privilege I've ever, like, feel like I got from God is, I'm talking about day one. I'm looking at my mom and daddy, and I'm like, I'm already knowing I'm finna have me a husband and some kids. So, like, with, you know what I'm saying, with the tomboy, with the hooping, with the rapping.
Oh, you had to let them know? Did they ask you this?
No. My mom and daddy always knew, so they know their daughter. Like, and I ain't finna sit on this podcast and say I was boy crazy or nothing like that, but, hey, my dog, I wasn't never lacking. Like, it was always great. I'm so serious. Like, when people would come to me with that, I kind of be like, I don't even know what it means to be, like, I had to go look it up in the dictionary. I didn't know what gay was. I didn't know what homosexual was. I remember being in middle school. It's like somebody teasing me and saying that, and I was just like, man, I don't even know what that is. So I went and looked it up in the dictionary. I laughed out loud. Like, so
but they teased you?
Oh, for sure.
What, like what?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
What would be the, help walk me through that.
It would just, man, I got so many moments, and I don't want nobody to think that I'm traumatically locked in these spaces, because I'm not. But like, it's just so many like little things. Like, I remember being in 5th grade, and you know, when you just got to sit in the line to go to the restroom, and them being like the boy line over there, and me being like,
oh, that's crazy.
But like, I'm a girl. Like, and it's clear. Like, I'm a girl, and like, with my adult woman eyes looking back, how you gonna feel as a little girl if I'm hanging out every day with the boy you like? How you gonna feel when, like, we best friends? How like how you feel when, like, I don't never have no issue talking to him because we like all of the same stuff. Like, I'm really, like, we out here really, like, playing together. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sitting over there talking, chit-chatting. I'm finna go play football. They getting active, they getting to it. And so that's why it was always really confusing, like, to me, because I'm with these dudes, and I know about half of them like me. Like, I don't know where y'all getting this from, and I don't understand why it's even a thing.
Yeah.
But as you grow up, like I said, I don't ever want to minimize, like, make my experience the experience of everybody. But I know tons and dozens of women who are just like me, have been heterosexual their whole life. They just a little rough around the edges.
My wife is one of them.
Yeah, just a little rough around the edges. So all of that to say, yes, rapping and hooping really go hand in hand to me. Like they just are synonymous in so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, like you have a natural like aggression. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, and I don't think that's masculine or feminine. I just think it's just human. You know what I'm saying? But I'm curious, like when you found Jesus, you know what I mean? You talked a little bit about like you had to wrestle with that aggression, like you had to figure out how to categorize that. Talk to us about
first of all, I didn't know you was gonna ask me the good questions. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so look, passion is the word I typically use.
Okay.
Because I think I am very passionate. I think if you know me personally, I'm not necessarily aggressive.
Okay.
Like, but I am a very passionate person. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to impose my will upon you, which I think is kind of like when you think about aggression. But passion, I believe wholeheartedly, and I'm about whatever it is that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so before I came to Christ, that passion was there. And I think, man, I just learned so much. I think that's one of the things that the enemy does well. A lot of times people think you're gonna come to God and then you are a new creature. You go down as something, you come up as something different. But we don't have a good grasp about how many of the things that are you that the enemy has tainted. And I'm talking about I was real passionate, real gung-ho about issues that, I could have gave my whole life to and wouldn't have never just have the fulfillment that I have being passionate about Christ. Like, if that makes sense. So the passion was already there, but when I gave my life to Christ, it pointed me in the right direction. It gave it a target.
Yeah. We was talking earlier and you were saying like, you was talking about that experience specifically of you like meeting the Lord. Or I don't even know if you already knew the Lord, but like, did you grow up in a Christian household?
Hey,
like,
man, let's get to it. So we definitely Easter and Christmas. You know what I'm saying? We
CME
definitely
Christians.
and like and to be fair, I'm one of 7.
Okay.
Like I'm one of 7.
Sheesh.
And everybody did sports. Everybody did extracurricular activities. Like my mom and daddy been together over 30 years. They got 7 beautiful, like, you know what I'm saying? Like my mom and dad was out here getting to it. And
clearly
so
with 7 kids. I was getting to it.
Hey, that's funny. My mama gonna laugh at that. And so we did, here we'll try to get to the Easter, we'll try to do Christmas. And then when I was in middle school, we did a for real stint. Like at, you know what I'm saying? Shout out McGee Chapel on Highway 6.
Okay.
We did like a real stint in church at that time. And that's when I got baptized. That's like the first time that I was made aware of the Holy Spirit. Man, standing in the choir singing I Need You, You Need Me, we're all a part of God's body. And like I just felt like something come over and I was like, dang, like what is that? And I'm like, oh snap, okay. Like this is different. Fast forward, I basically fall out with Christ because I have taken upon myself to really like figure out what my roots are and trying to go down that wormhole. And I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? If Jesus finna be this white Jesus, then y'all can have him. Like my people just have gone through too much. Like I just see the residual effects of systematic racism. Like, and as y'all saying, like, that's what he on, then I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all can have I'm off of him. Y'all can have him. And mind you, at this point, I'm married. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, me and Corey married. So Corey then walked up to the aisle, walked down the aisle with this woman talking about she professed Jesus as her Lord and Savior. And now he got somebody who out here gone rogue. So shout out to my boo for just like being very patient and like literally embodying long suffering, grace, mercy, kindness. But I'm wrestling with Christ. And one day I got all my little books out. I'm probably straight off of Hidden Figures. Not Hidden Figures, but Hidden Colors. Or is it Colors? Okay. It's Colors. I can't even remember it now. Got all my books open and I come across something that just sounds egregious. I'm like, ain't no way this true. As much as I want as a black woman to be the center of everything because of how trash everybody has treated us, what I'm reading just cannot be true. And like, it just hit me. It's like, yo, if you're gonna read all of these random books from all of these other random authors and you give them the space to see, why wouldn't you just read the Bible? Just read it. Because at this point, I'm thinking it ain't really no space for a woman in Christianity. It dang sure is problematic for Black people. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just circle back because this is getting wild. Let me just circle back with the heart posture to see and not to defend. And look, man, like fast forward, I'm sitting here. So, you know, I have my moment, like, you know, that moment that you feel like they doing the altar call and like my spirit led me down that aisle. My body didn't have no say so at that point. Like, hey, we getting up and we going to give our life to Christ. That happens, man, my marriage do a 180. Like, I go from, hey, listen, hey, let's just go ahead and call it a quits to, hey, how many babies you want? Like, how many?
Hold up.
How many we doing?
Wait, we gotta pause. Hold on, let's pause there. It's a couple things though, because in that articulation, you said a lot, right? And I can relate to, it's so much I can relate. It's crazy. But on one end of the spectrum, you said you find the Lord.
Yes.
Or seriously pursue the Lord.
Yes.
But this is after you have told your husband, I'm rocking with the Lord, but now I'm like, I'm not. And he gotta go through this. So I went through something similar where it's kind of like, I'm in the trenches of evangelicalism and just like, you know, I'm in it. And then I'm like, hold up, dude just got murdered in the street. And y'all telling me like, well, he deserved it. And I'm like, wait, what?
That's not how they go. Yeah.
So I was like, if this is how Christians think, I don't know if I want to be a Christian. Because I hadn't, again, my upbringing was the traditional Black churches that I had came up in, I felt like was just emotional. So I threw them out.
Okay.
And then this new kind of evangelical church I done came in is no emotion. So I threw them out. So I'm left with nothing. And I tell my wife, look, I don't know what we're going to do now. I know what that was like for me. What was that experience like for y'all?
At this point, I'm very selfish. So I don't even have no, like, I don't really care how this affecting you. I'm not going back to that church. You can do what you want to do.
Okay.
I'm not going back to that church. At this point, because mind you, this is why my marriage is suffering, because I have no idea what it means to move in unity. And listen, you can watch people all you want. My mom and daddy been married for 30 years. I watched Luke and Lola ride or die with each other for 30 years. That still ain't do a whole lot for me as it relates to trying to figure out how to assimilate myself to and with into oneness with this man. So you asked me, like, what was that like for y'all? You're going to have to get Corey down here to tell you what it's like to have an unbelieving wife. But as for me...
Hey, Corey's in the building. We can summon him.
As for me, I'm like, yo, I don't know what you doing. I don't know how this stuff is resonating with you. But let me tell you where I'm not going. I'm not going back there. And I don't know if I'll ever be returning to established Christianity because this stuff just don't make any sense. And so, you know, that's just, but I was so selfish. Like now, being Mrs. Grant. Like for a long time, I even struggled with that. No, call me Mrs. LaNell Grant. Don't, like my name can't just disappear. Like, and you know, I know that might be hard for me because you like, hey, why you don't want to? And it's just like, because when I go and I completely assimilate to you, that's it. When people see you, they gotta see me. And I gotta trust that when they see you, they see me. I have to trust that I'm not going to disappear into just whatever it is that you are. Yeah. And so now with that mind, like, boo, like, my bad. You know, like, what does it look like for your wife to not just be, oh, I might be deconstructing, but I'm full out radical. Hey, nah, y'all can have Christ. And you gotta, like, still take her to the family functions. You gotta still... So I can't tell you what it's like, but I can assume that it was very trying.
Now that's really interesting. You know what else is interesting? Is ad-free content. Like not having this interview interrupted by ads. And that's what I believe you want. The way that happens is by you subscribing to BSIDE, where you will get seamless ad-free content. And you'll be able to enjoy this interview along with tons of others without any interruptions.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I can only imagine. Me and Corey will talk about that later.
Yes.
But I'm just curious, like for you, like you in the selfish state of mind.
Yes.
Are you like what are you thinking when? Because I've seen some of y'all's conversations where you was like, we got to get divorced. You know, like how do you get there and then like well, walk us through that scenario.
Look, man, gosh, man, and okay, so look, we get married and it's all good. Like everything is cool. Like me and Corey in love. Ain't nothing crazy done happen. Like ain't no abuse. Ain't no disrespect. Like it's just nothing wild that's going on. But I personally, and you know, he got his own, you know, things. But I personally am just really struggling with oneness. And I can say that in hindsight, and at the time, it just was very selfish. Like, well, what about me? Or I don't like this, or I'm not happy. Like everything else in my life is going great. Like I'm teaching, I'm coaching, you know, like I'm thriving in these other areas. Like I'm teaching myself a whole craft. Like if this part of my life is not okay, it's not because it's me, it's you. Look at all of the other things I do well. Look at how amazing I am. Like, and like it's hard for me to go back here because it's just so egregious, but like this is, I don't even want to say it, like you would be lucky like to have me. Like I hate to even like go back to that now, but that's just where I was for real at mentally. Like you need to figure out like how to be married. I come from a 2-parent home. It's not me that doesn't understand it. It's you. You need to figure it out. You need to get yourself together. And it literally took Christ. I'll say it like this. One day I'm in my classroom at school. It's during my passing period, and I'm coming undone in there. And in hindsight, it's because my spirit and my flesh was at odds. But I'm in this classroom. I'm just like, yo, like if you a real God, then show yourself. Like look at me. Look at all of these things that I do. I'd be a great believer. Like I'd be an amazing believer, but you're gonna have to show yourself. You're gonna have to prove yourself. Like I'm like just talking wild and full out tears, like just emotional tears, like anger, and because it don't matter what you amass in this world, that emptiness can't nothing satisfy it. And so I'm in there crying out, and Holy Spirit put this prayer on my tongue because I promise you it wasn't me. I said, but if it be your will, let me know you before tragedy strikes. Like I need you. Like that's not the mindset I was in. So there's no way that I could have functionally prayed that prayer. I know for a fact Holy Spirit put that prayer on my tongue. All right, fast forward. You know what I'm saying? I for real like give like Christ a try. Walk down the aisle, and not walk down the aisle, but go to the altar, give my life to God, and He just started making me over. So all of us like, and it didn't happen like instantly, but it did happen in a very short amount of time. And so I was like, you know what, God, if I got this thing down, I'm going to go over here. You're going to work on me. And because you are who you are, you're going to do whatever it is you're going to do with your son. Like, okay, cool. But during this time, like my eyes started changing. I'm like, yo, he ain't just my husband. That's God's baby. I'm talking reckless to God's child. I'm his wife. I'm his first line of defense. I guarantee you this man don't feel encouraged by me.
Teach a class, LaNell. Teach a class now.
Like,
come
and
on.
it just like, you struggling to submit to your husband because you struggling to submit to Christ. You don't know your place. You don't know your place in Christ. So you out here walking all over this marriage, thinking just because you can do something, that means you should be doing it, or just because you see a gap that you should be filling it. And it don't matter if you feel that gap or not. It's different when you feel it versus when that man feels it. And like God really just wrestled with me and made me over mentally. And so, you know, you're asking me like how you get from point A to point B. You know, I'm letting that word wash over me. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a connect group. I'm being discipled. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like walking these things out in practicality, and it just helps. You know, when your spouse is a believer as well. So we begin to have that real third strand. Like you feel this way, I feel this way, but what does God say? Like how we really supposed to be operating? That's how you get from, hey, I'm finna leave you and Christ, to, hey, what's up? Don't say nothing crazy about Corey, or you finna see.
You gonna see another side of me.
Like that's how you get that transition.
Okay, so it's funny you brought this up because I had forgot about this, but you was talking about you wasn't submit to Christ, you wasn't submit to your husband. I saw you posted something on social media a while back, and it was about submission.
Okay.
And people was a little.
I must have been feeling good that day. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
they was in their feelings.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, all right. You know what I'm talking about. You feel me?
Hey, that's so funny. Come on, let's go.
You
let's go.
Like, I generally am excited when you go viral.
I'm talking about Lecrae. I done been viral about 5 times and ain't damn time been about no bars. Like maybe what, my little heart be hurt. I be like, dang, hey, Chris and Corey, do they really mess with the music? I'm out here trying to have a functional career in music, and every time I go viral, it's because I didn't say something about Mary. Hey, y'all not finna make me no marriage counselor. Now I can tell y'all my experiences, but I don't know if I can counsel you.
but tell us a little bit about that experience and just like,
man, look, man, hey, people,
what did you feel like you was communicating, and what did you feel like they heard?
Hey, Lecrae, like here's the thing, you finna be sorely disappointed. Hey, I was in the spot where I was trying to post every day. And I just went in my phone and I found something that I could post. Like, it wasn't even that deep. Now, the context of it was like not even an intermission, just between the song and my set. And the next song that I was coming to was about my boo. So, I just did like what you do as an artist. You give a little, a little prelude, get the audience mind, geared towards where you're going. And I'm just like, hey, Corey Grant is my husband. Like, yeah, y'all don't get me without him, because like I have lived a version of this life where I'm out there, I'm stepping without him, and that stuff is imploding in my face. So I have learned, y'all don't get me without him. Even when it ain't a complete yes from him, even when the answer take all day, I'm like, my dog, how long do you need to deliberate? Can we get an answer? Even with all of that, you don't get me without him, because I know what it's like to be out here uncovered without my husband. So like that, I'm like, just, real basic, y'all don't get me without him. Now I am a woman's woman. I champion women. Yeah. You're not gonna get a woman who care about the concerns of women more than I do. However, I choose to ask my husband for his permission, because it comes with his provision and his protection. Now, listen, I don't know why that would make the world blow up. It seems very practical and in line to me. But you know what? A lot of men, they wanted to jump in them comments and deal with the women who didn't understand it. But I take real inventory of that post, and it ain't the women who was the problem. It's not. Now, mind you, yes, we got some of us, like it's a lot of us out here who just like struggle in that area and all of those things. But Lecrae, most of the women in those comments were asking me questions. We're trying to understand it. Well, why would she say that? Or why you? And for every woman that was her posture, and I met her with, I understand where you at. I feel you. I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. I was there. This is how I got here. Everything that I'm saying about my husband is really a direct reflection about how I feel about my God. Like, when I was like speaking to them, disarmed, no issues. But these I'm gonna get together now. Get together now. But some of my brethren, my brothers, they are a little calloused in the area of not getting women to do the things that they want them to do. Yeah. And they try to rule with an iron fist. Yeah. Or, hey, because the Bible say da-da-da-da-da. Yes, the Bible does say that. And as a woman, she got to go on her own and decide to submit to that. But you make it a whole lot better when you worth submitting to. And I don't ever like, because I really do believe in order. So like that, I can't, like, that's between y'all. Y'all got to figure it out. You got to get with your dudes and y'all got to figure that out. Yeah. I'm just going to tell you as a woman what I seen. And the thing that probably ruffled my feathers the most was the choir, the choir that was already there, which is if they know, they know. If they don't, I'm like, yo, I was a person that didn't know. Yeah. And somebody had to walk with me and teach me. My husband had to deal with me until like I got there. So that was my main issue. And then the second group of people, the dudes, they want to shoot at everything under the sun. Her voice deeper than Optimus Prime. Yeah, and that's on Megatron. Fall back. So you have to deal with the buffoonery.
But what I appreciated is I feel like oftentimes we are in, we've been in a lot of culture wars. You know what I'm saying? We've been in like ethnic culture wars.
We just love it though. Like we just love it.
Male versus female culture wars. Yes. And I appreciated you in a lot of ways neutralizing it and saying like, nah, we won.
Like, y'all.
Yeah.
And when you just really don't have, now also I gotta be. My daddy been in my life my entire life. I ain't never woke up not one day like, hey, I wonder if my pops is coming back. Like him and Lola been rocking till the wheels like fall off since day one.
Yeah.
And so there is just a lot of intangibles that make me up and make up this mind that I recognize a lot of people don't have the privilege. You just don't have, male or female, whether that's a woman being covered by a man in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My daddy, he's the one that like pushed me on basketball, sports, music. He the one. So if that's the same man that's pushing me, telling me to like go hard, that's the same man that turned around and told me, hey, Corey's a good man. You need to sit down somewhere and relax. Like that is priceless, and that just like I'm trying to give a picture into how you got this mind of Christ plus a present father plus you married to a good man. I'm privileged, and I recognize that a lot of women are not in that position.
I want to show you something. I want to show you this because this is this is super vulnerable and it's dope to see. But I'm just curious, like, what was going on with you?
Oh man, what this finna be, dog?
During this period of time. Yeah. You can just push play on that thing. Push play on. Hey, this you already know where we going.
All right, Corey, where you at, boo? All right. I don't think I feel like a normal 3-month honeymoon phase bride. Ooh. I love my husband. I don't doubt that I will spend forever with him. However, I am having trouble adjusting. I haven't a clue of what to do sometimes. I still think in terms of me and what happiness is in my life.
His happiness is an afterthought. Mm-hmm. And I think he genuinely considers me first in all, or most things.
So that came from the very first series that like I taped. And that was a moment from a journal, like a real journal entry. When Corey and I, like just in general, my entire life, I like journaled a lot. But specifically in them first few years of that marriage, because if I ain't say it in that journal, I don't know what was gonna pop off. But I was literally wrestling with putting down my own flesh and putting the desires of somebody else above mine. Mind you, at this point, I pride myself on being a good person. Mm-hmm. I pride myself on relationships. I pride myself on being there for people. And man, marriage is such a blessing because I don't think nobody in the world would have known how egotistical, how selfish, how full of pride I was. Mm-hmm. Marriage has a way of pulling out good and bad, the things that the rest of the world just does not know is there. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, that's me putting all those words on there. Corey is a good man. This man ain't never called me none of that. I gotta say that out my mouth. It's like, cause it's the truth. Because that's how solid he is. He ain't gonna never say that. But that was the truth. And that's really where I was at. Really desiring to walk in oneness with somebody, but not having a clue of how to go from me to us. Mm-hmm. And bro, looking at my life now, my babies, what I do, how me and Corey serve God, dog, that was a real attack on our oneness before we even had an opportunity to understand what marriage and who God was gonna call us to be. Mm-hmm. And so where my mind goes now, when I look at that stuff, at that point, I was like, hey, I was out here drowning, trying to hold on for dear life. Now, I'm like, hey, glory to God, because he just really showed himself to me in a way that had me get to him in a timely manner. Mm-hmm. And when I look at the way the rest of my life unfolded, it was just in the nick of time.
One, I just want to say, you know what I mean? Like, for me personally, and I was telling this to you and Corey before, it's refreshing to hear y'all's honesty and transparency.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've talked a lot about marriage, but the reason why for me personally is because I've had a really hard marriage. You know what I'm saying? So I've been with my wife going on 19 years.
Come on, man.
But only 9 of them was dope.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
I
The
do.
last 9.
I do.
You know what I mean? So those first 10 years was really hell. And I think a lot of people don't talk about, like, they always try to tell you, like, oh, this will fix it, and they do this and this and this and this. But they don't really just tell you, man, this joint hard.
It's hard.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
hard. And it's, I don't even like to say that sometimes because then I don't want to scare people away.
For sure.
But it's work.
Yeah.
It is man, I only know what to put it in terms of the way, like the stuff the Bible say. You have to die to yourself. You have
and that's where it's easier depending on how much you willing to die to yourself.
you have to decide what your real objective is.
Yeah.
Like you have to, man, I'm talking about crazy since I was like, I'm talking about preschool, 3, 4 years old. I knew day one, I want 60 years of marriage. Like that has been a desire in my heart. And obviously, like, don't no kid just want that. Like that's a desire God put in my heart. Day one, I want 60 years of marriage. That is my objective. Now, Corey, come on, because I don't want him to be raggedy. Like, come on, come on. Like, let's figure out how to do it so that it's not raggedy.
Yeah.
But it is difficult, even when you have that resolve. That resolve is cool and it sound good sitting on this couch with you.
Yeah.
But when we plexed up, and you like, oh man, okay, let me just categorize it. Let's see what the infraction is. Okay, cool. Am I leaving because of it? Nah, we're not leaving. Okay, cool. How long am I willing to be upset? Okay, cool. Am I gonna be upset? Is me being upset contingent upon an apology that I may or may not get, or it may or may not come the way I wanted to? Or can I just be mature and articulate how I feel about it and then move on? That sounds easy, like saying it, but dog, that's just very difficult. It's difficult, and we ain't even talking about being entrepreneurs. We ain't even talking about having kids. We ain't even talking about having these babies 2 years apart, and they literally just jumping off our backs and necks 24 hours a day. Yeah. Like, the world is gonna come with all of its other like things. The best thing that me and Corey could do is decide that we on the same page, even when it don't feel like, hey, I'm not feeling you as a teammate right now. You done dropped by 3 bounce passes. Like you ain't hit a field goal in about 2 months. Yeah. But you're who I'm on the team with, and I'm rocking with you, and I'm not finna go pick nobody else up off the blacktop. Yeah. I'm not finna go back out there. It's treacherous out there. I didn't see what's out there. I'm not doing it. I'm with you.
This is another thing. I'm sitting there as you talking. I see I see your sweatshirt. Women produce. You feel me? And I'm very passionate about disenfranchised people. Yeah. So if somebody is looked over, I'm passionate about it. But that's because I was a disenfranchised person.
Got
you know
you.
what I'm saying? One of my sayings I say all the time is, if you live for people's acceptance, you die from their rejection. The reason why is because I struggle so much with acceptance because my pops ran out. So that's been a mantra for me. I think a lot of times when people scream from the rooftops is something that they are passionate about, but there's a reason why. I see your passion for women. You are a champion for women. And I just want to get under the hood of that. Yeah. Like where did that come from? What stimulated that? Like, where's that?
Man, day one, my mom and daddy said, you can be anything you want to be. And I believed them. And it wasn't until adulthood that I ever even began to question that. I wholeheartedly, like, bro, I started making music at 25 years old. Like, I believe that I can do and be anything that I want to do and be. And so, number one, dog, my mama. Like, Lola is the realest. You know what I'm saying? 7 kids, riding with her husband, and to the best of her ability, presenting herself. And, like, just, like, if I call my mama right now, like, she here. So, like, just a very, like, presence, I got you. I'm going to be here with you. So, my mom was the first lady. And then the second lady that I seen, I just look at her and I'm just like, hey, she bout whatever it is that she say she bout. If she say she gonna do it, she do it. If she say she gonna get to it, she get to it. LaShawn Johnson was my high school basketball coach. And this lady is responsible for having pushed me through things that I never thought that I could physically be pushed through.
Yeah.
And the whole time, because like we was cold, like we was for real good, you know. But we was for real good.
You was a star.
You know what I'm saying? I was a solid player, and like that just never wasn't my situation in basketball. I'm gonna be, I'm the player, the intangible player. So the player that you feel, if
solid role player.
Yeah, like so if you look at the stat sheet, you might decide you want to get rid of me. You know what I'm saying? So I start dropping 15, 16 if I have to.
Yeah.
But as soon as I'm gone, you feel it.
I feel you.
Okay?
I feel you.
But so she's the first person, hey, every tub must stand on its own bottom. Hey, y'all are not just women, y'all black women. Like she just like really was gearing us up towards the world. So the whole time, you know, we think we hooping and it's about, you know, championships and da-da-da-da. And Coach Jay was preparing us for this world out here that's getting ready to try to knock you down and say you not everything that you believe that you are.
Yeah.
And so she was the second woman. And then I'm not gonna lie to you, man, I always felt capable, felt very talented, very gifted. But when I pushed my son out of me, Elijah, my first son, I looked up and I said, "Hey, what else needs to be done today?" Like. You not finna tell me nothing. I just pushed. Like y'all see that baby over there? I did that.
That's kind of crazy.
like when that happened amidst like producing, you know what I'm saying, for one of the best artists that I feel like Houston has ever seen. Like I'm like, yo, I am really functionally capable. And I know I be going through it sometimes, but women don't just produce. Like I didn't just produce this baby. Like everything that I touch can be made better. And that's one side of it. Then when I look at the way I was created and what I was created for, anything that you give me, I multiply. Anything that you give me, I turn into something. And what I don't typically say, because you know women produce to encourage, to inspire, to comfort, but it is my prayer that there is a generation of women who will understand and have the privilege of helping God's men build the visions that he's given them. I know we got to get to it for ourselves, and I know we got to make sure that we good. And this ain't even always like in no marital situation or nothing like that. This is just kingdom stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if good godly men, they got vision about how like God's body is supposed to be operating and where things are supposed to go. You know, man, I just pray that as women we can like tap into that. And so, yeah, women produce, man, it means everything to me. Obviously, yes, I produce babies, but, you know, it's got women out here who they haven't chosen to do that, or they might not choose to do that. They still are women that produce. Anything that you put your hands on, you bring in life to.
Yeah. So you talked about your mom being pivotal in helping you see that. You talked about your coach being pivotal in helping you see that. When did you feel like, because obviously men ain't walking around here like, yeah, men produce, because it's obvious. You know what I'm saying? When did you first feel like, oh, y'all don't think we can, when did that hit you when it was like, oh, y'all trying to tear us off our platform here?
Yes. Like, more than it's ever been about what men do think or don't think. This is what I've learned. Or
even women, because some women don't have that.
That's what it's about. Because this is what I've learned. I'm not trying to do no whole bunch of convincing no men about nothing. Only man I'm really trying to do a whole bunch of convincing to, Corey. Like, it's just not my place in a lot of territory. Number one, because I'm not even finna be in a relationship with you like that. So, but now when I do try to talk to my brothers, y'all be gentle with us, be patient with us, da-da-da-da-da. But I'm not gonna lie, Craig, most of the men that I've ever encountered in my life have been extraordinarily encouraging. I don't have like a whole lot of, you know, I got a little bit, but not a whole lot of like men like trying to like tear me down, like type situation. But what I do find is that there are many capable women who don't know that they're capable. There are many women who they don't feel that confident about themselves. And I really think that there's like two like real types of confidence. Number one is practice. You can see yourself do something, you know you could do it. I know this for a fact, whether that's rapping, producing, hooping, motherhood. You know, when them babies first come, you like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. And then you fast forward, you know, you just juggling it. You got it. And then there's like God confidence, like the faith of, even when I don't know if I can do this, yo, I know what he created me to do. I know the things that he's placed inside of me, and I am to steward those things, not to like use them as identity because we get stuck there. You know, if you spend a lot of time disenfranchised, by the time that you realize you something, you know, I am gifted. Oh, you know what? I do got a little something on me. A lot of us stay there. And it's like, it's never for your identity. My identity is in Christ. Whatever gift he done gave, cool, kudos. But he give all his kids gift. You're not special because you got a gift.
Yeah.
Everybody got one.
That's good.
And so when you move past that and you realize, oh, okay, yo, this is to encourage somebody. This is for the betterment of something that's way bigger than me. That's why I go so hard for women produce, because I know for a fact it's a lot of women out here thinking, oh, I can't do it. Or they look at other women and like, oh, yo, she does it effortlessly. Hey, look, I be out here in the trenches just like everybody else, and that's why I be being vulnerable. Because I don't ever want you to think that this stuff is on autopilot.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I be being pressed about my kids being around, or what's going on, or if I got to provide for this, or we got school projects, and I got an album I'm trying to do, but they still the most important thing in my life, and I say that, but do they really feel that? If every time they look at me, I'm doing music instead of playing with them? Like, yo, all of the things, but you can do it, and you will be fine.
I saw a clip a while back when you was talking about the traveling and the music and all the particular things. And I mean, many people know, you know, how I first got acquainted with you was when you was producing for Toby. And then, you know, you was traveling on tour with Toby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I don't know the ins and outs of that. I know he traveled with all his kids. I don't know if you was able to travel with all your kids or not at that point in time. But I just know you did a clip where you was saying, I'm tired and I don't know how much longer I can do all of these particular things. Like, how are you today? What have you learned, or what has been revealed to you in light of all that?
Man, because we was in the kitchen. I know exactly where it came from, and I was tired. Now, a grain of salt, I was like 7 months pregnant, so I'm a different person. I'm a different person.
Yeah.
My ability to do is a little different when I'm pregnant. But in general, I was tired. I was tired trying to have it all. And you know, this is a touchy subject, Cray. It really is, because I don't want to be the woman to tell women that you can't have it all, because you can. But I want to be the one to say, maybe not all at the same time.
Okay. That's fair.
Maybe not all at the same time.
Man, that's a human.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, we got capacities. Like, we finite. It just is what it is, okay? And so, you know, what are your objectives? Like, what's real to you? Like, I'm going to be okay if the rest of the world don't never think I deserve a Grammy. I'm going to be okay if the pinnacle, and you know, church people don't believe in speaking against yourself, but I'm just trying to. I'm going to be okay if the pinnacle is I just made a decent living for me and my family. I'm not going to be okay if 60 years from now I'm not married to Corey. I'm not going to be okay if 60 years from now I'm estranged from my children. Like, those things are just not going to be okay for me. And especially for my babies and even Corey, it's my responsibility, because Corey going to run through a brick wall. If I believe that, hey, this the goal, this is what I feel like God has like commissioned me to do, Corey, like, hands down gonna make sure that happen. My babies, this just their life. They don't. So it's my responsibility to be mindful about how I'm doing it. And when I said that, I ain't even have a kid in school yet that I was homeschooling. Like that was a big thing. Like, because it's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Time is on the table.
Yeah.
I'm already knowing. If I embark on this journey and I say that I'm going to be responsible for homeschooling my son and being a former educator and seeing everything that's out there, I'm his mama. Who else should do it? And not saying that somebody else can't, even in the future can't. But in this moment right now, I know it's my responsibility. Okay, now when you do this, that music gonna come out a little slower. Yeah, like, I don't know about what your rhythm finna be on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or it's gonna be weeks and days where you don't even look at that computer or get nothing done. You know, and I just have to know that that's what I want. That's my objective. Even when it ain't, you know, it ain't all beautiful, and I want to be moving faster and I want to be going harder. I'm somebody's wife and mom, and for some women, you know, that might seem like a sentence. For me, it's the biggest privilege that God has ever bestowed on me.
You, even in what you're saying now, like, you know, we talked a little bit about the season of your life where you was like, kind of asking God for your purpose.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's your teaching days.
Yes. For sure.
And then I'm assuming, like, he gave you your answer because you're sitting here like articulating your level of contentment with like, hey, Lord, I know what you kind of got me here for. But I'm curious, like, you know, your idea of purpose versus assignment. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, what's up, dog? I ain't know we was gonna be getting into all the good stuff. What's up?
Crazy.
Hey, listen, man. I think my take might be slightly controversial.
yeah.
And my take is my only purpose is to glorify God. I don't have no other purpose. In my mind, anything else is treason. God has a kingdom. I don't have a kingdom. God has a kingdom. That kingdom has an objective. If I designate a different purpose than the objective of that kingdom, that would make me a traitor. That would be treason, punishable by death. So that's my very strong, and that's my take, because I wasted too much time trying to figure out what an earthly purpose was. Like that's why I feel so strong about that. Now, obviously, the audience that's there, like, it's, you know, geared towards women. There is clearly an assignment of, you know, especially in this season, which, you know, seasons change, assignments can change, but there's definitely an assignment geared towards the edification and the exhortation of women. And I don't typically say it in that lingo, you know what I'm saying? But it, like, that's what I'm passionate about. You know what I mean? Seeing women through the things in their lives that all women have to go through. For sure. But that ain't gonna never go against the ultimate assignment of bringing souls unto Christ.
Yeah.
So I just think it's real problematic when we start standing around saying what God put us here for, as if the word of God don't tell us exactly why I don't have to make nothing up. And it's just, the more I read, the more I realized, yo, I'm trying to make something up that I don't have to make up.
Yeah.
Now, he can point me in whatever direction he want to point his vessel to while I'm here. But ultimately, the thing I'm trying to do is what his kingdom is about. And it gave me peace. It helped me make sure that I don't think that being a rapper is my purpose. Like, let me not say this. That, to me, that's goofy, to think that my purpose is like to rap. Or my purpose is to put kicks and snares together. I'm created by the Most High God of this universe. I'm not going to be reduced to whatever level of creativity I put out in whatever season it's in.
Sheesh.
And even with them beautiful babies, you know, part of my purpose, yes, multiplying the kingdom. So yes, being with Corey, yes. But even that, I'm a child of God here to enlarge his territory. That's the purpose.
Yeah.
And many different people will do that many different ways throughout their lives, and that, you know, the assignment. So, you know, assignment of motherhood, assignment of a wife, assignment of, you know, creativity and music, whatever. But I just think we get in trouble when we start reducing ourselves to occupations. That's wild.
Why are you not speaking more?
Oh man, hey, what Chris said.
I'm sincere. Why are you not speaking more?
Man, you know, in all seriousness, vulnerability, because I don't want to be no talking head. Because I see it. I see it. I see people get full of themselves.
Okay.
And I know where I come from.
Okay.
I remember how egotistical I was. I remember how full of wisdom I thought I was.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, and I think Cray, and I think Chris and Corey know this, but I think the root of it is I just don't ever want to go back to what it was before. And I don't want to get in a position where I can't see that it's happening, because I don't think most people do it knowingly.
That makes sense.
It just happens. And, you know, if you don't keep, you know, solid people of God around you that can tell you no, you putting yourself in an even worse situation. If everybody hand clap everything you do, you know, you can look up and you in a situation where you done amass your thing and you think you killing it, and you far from what God has actually called you to do. But I do want to. I say all that to say I do want to.
I think you should.
I want to.
Because, I mean, just legit. Honestly, I mean, you and Corey both, shout out to y'all's YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Y'all give a lot of amazing gems. I'm really almost like, it's rare when you see a couple who can, like, bounce stuff off of each other the way that y'all can. You know what I'm saying? We got to do another episode with both of y'all on here.
For sure.
You know, like a couples episode. If I could ever drag my wife would be like, I don't be talking. You ain't gonna get me on here talking.
Come on,
you know
please.
But, But I think that would be dope. I mean, sidebar though, you are really good at music. So for somebody who just started,
yeah, technically,
you know what I'm saying? Like you really are good at music, and that's something to be proud of. In the song "Everything,"
okay,
you talk about they can't have me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm curious for you because I'll be saying they a lot.
Yeah. I feel you.
Who are the proverbial days for you? It
depends on the song, but typically it's in that particular song.
Yeah.
So this is what I'll say. In my understanding, and this has really helped me, and it really helps me keep a heart for people. God loves his people. He hates sin. Okay? So we can take on the same thing. Like, I love everybody. I don't necessarily like everything that's in the operation, that people are allowed to be in operation in them. Okay? So,
say that again.
Like,
Wait a minute.
That just help you make it clear. Like, I love everybody, but sometimes people are allowing things to be in operation through them, and I don't rock with that. So, when I say they, I typically mean the dark forces at B. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm saying something else. But typically, there is an orchestration of things behind the scenes. And good people fall victim to it all of the time. Bad people fall victim to it. You know, unless we are really on our P's and Q's and on our posts, any one of us can be used to demise or to spite another person at any given time. So the they is really those things in operation, not really those people. You know,
the powers, the principalities.
Unless you just then decided to make yourself synonymous with evil, then they.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions on this just because I want you to be known as who you are.
Yeah.
But I'm outside looking in.
Yes.
So outside looking in, I see you. You know, you are Toby's producer.
Correct.
And you know, y'all doing your thing. You making music.
No. We doing something people ain't never done.
Okay.
Let's talk about it right. We doing something.
True. That's very true.
We ain't seen done in a long time in that way.
No, for real. Like literally took advantage of a new landscape.
Yes.
And owned it and really transformed it and made something new. And I don't have to ask this question because I already know it was a collective unit. It was everyone was contributing to this idea and this vision, and different people were giving different insights. And he always gives credit where credit's due in a lot of them circumstances. But then you pivot, and not just producing but becoming an artist. Were you already an artist at this time, and you just wasn't? Okay, so what?
No, I mean obviously like there were a few rap songs here or there, but like no, not for real.
Yeah.
So not on purpose. Literally. I produced, this whole album still produced. I produced and wrote an entire album with some of my homies. And I wanted to put it out. But I recognized you can't just put it out. Like I need to do something to create, you know what I'm saying, like a little buzz before I just try to like just throw this project out. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like what can we do? And my homie is like, you need to rap. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to be doing that on this project. Like that's not really what I'm on. Like some time and space has elapsed. Like I can't just jump out there and then not like address. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like it's a lot going on. I ain't really trying to do that. And her and Corey, like they was like, nah, like number one, it's not outside your wheelhouse. And on this side of it, I can see that they are two amazing, beautiful people who are always seeing me as I am and helping me see myself. So I'm acting like this is like such a huge feat, but it's like, yo, I can rap. Like, it's like, come on now, you can rap. Like, why are we acting like this is a big deal? But it was the pressure of everything around it. So I literally made that song just so that I can put out this other project that I just produced. Like,
that's crazy because I do not remember getting a call when you did that joint. But anyway, that's not even. That's
cool. Good. That's good. Come on, man. We locked in. We locked in, man. We locked in. We locked in.
It ain't big deal. And I ain't tripping.
So I literally only wrote that song to do that. And just, I just felt like that needed to be done. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me put like a little 5-song, EP together real quick to kind of like make some space for like Nell, finna be doing production projects. And I made one song and 2 songs and 3 songs, 4, 5. Like between January 1st and like maybe March 15th, I wrote that entire album. I wrote that entire first album. And I'm like, okay, cool. I still wasn't really on some like I'm a rapper. That's where the vocab bars even came from. Because I was writing the album and I was finishing it and I was like, you know what, I need to get some practice in. I need to be like
That's
really
practice.
Come on now, I'm all right now. I need to get some practice in. And so I would start doing the vocab bars for practice. And I'm like, okay, I'll post them. That became the marketing for the album. And that's how, like, you know, dropped the album. And then like I got there and it's just like, no, why you want to act like you don't want to do this? Why you want to act like that? Like what have you believed that tells you that you can't do this or you shouldn't do this when this was one of the first things that you were doing?
Yeah.
Do it. And then don't just do it. Do it the way you know how to do it, girl. Stop playing.
So did you feel confident? Obviously, like what gave you enough confidence to say, all right, I'm going to step away from just being this producer for Toby and I'm going to do my own thing. Like what was I can do this?
I didn't have that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I did it scared. Like, there wasn't no confidence. It was my husband standing there championing his wife. My homie standing there saying like, hey, you're choosing to believe lies of the enemy instead of believing what you're capable of. And it was all of the desires in my heart about the things that I could see myself doing, that I knew I wanted to do. Things that ain't even like wrapped up in me, things that like are wrapped around women produce. I ain't even yet done the things that I really want to do for women produce. And so it was that, but I would not sit here and lie to you. That passion that you see, that air, that flare, oh, it was not there. I was cowered in the corner.
Yeah.
Hey man, I hope these bars gonna be good. I think it'll be all right. And then as I kept going, and I would have lucid moments like, hey, you're tripping.
Yeah.
You're tripping about like who you are. Like you really letting the enemy do a number on you.
Right.
So you asked me like, what was there wasn't any. I did it scared.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you this, and we can edit this if you don't.
I got you.
All right, but you know, you got to a place in your personal life where you was like, I got to do something different, right? I mean, it currently, besides Travis Scott, Toby's one of the faces of Houston rap music.
He got it.
Right. So why pivot and go your own direction?
Because I truly believe in the inheritance that God has given me, not the one that I think I can make for myself. And in the world standards about what it'll look like for me to be successful in my own right are very different from God's standards. I'm successful right now being in oneness with my husband and being a present mother to my children in a way that I just really wasn't before. And that's just the truth. Like I had to reprioritize a lot of people can produce. Like even me, I'm real good. I am. I love it. I think I'm cold. I think I'm one of the coldest people that came out of Houston. You ain't seen the best combo guard rapping, producing. I truly believe that. However, the truth is, multiple people can put kicks and snares together. Corey only got one wife. My baby's only got one mama. They can't replace me. I can be replaced in almost every other sector in life that I show up. I cannot be replaced in that sector. And even like when it's difficult, I'm really about that. Like that's really the most important thing to me. Even when my flesh and my little ego want to say something different, that truly is the most important thing to me. And so that's why, because success for me in this life, God, dog, is in what God say successful stuff is in what God has deemed. He say children are a blessing. It's beautiful to walk in unison and oneness with your husband. That is a gift of the kingdom. That's what success look like for me. All of this other stuff, it's going to feed my ego. It's going to put food on the table for us. I'm going to be able to encourage other people. But Corey only get one nail as a wife, and my babies only get one mama, and I got to go be that.
Just throw the shoe, throw the phone. Like that's what. Okay.
That's just what it is, man.
Sheesh.
And it ain't easy and it ain't hard, but that's just what it is.
Sheesh.
That's just what it is. And sure, cause men ain't gonna stop telling you what they think their definition of success is. Man is not gonna stop putting in your face what, and I gotta keep my eyes fixated on no, but you know why I created you. When we look back at the beginning, when he placed her in that garden with him, it was to be his helpmate. It was because he was lonely, because he needed companionship, and it's because they had to go forth and populate the world in the name of God. Kicks and snares is cool, but I have a very real assignment. I'm talking about I even give up the kicks and snares and the rap song myself. I cool. All right, cool. Now it's time to move into a different season or something that might be
Listen.
I'm really about that.
Hold on. Any dude watching this, it's some women listening to her right now saying, I'm finna get it together. Y'all better get it together because these ladies finna be on. They gonna have it right.
Cray, listen, when I tell you the women that I be encountering, they're just waiting.
Sheesh.
They're waiting. They've done all of the things. They have accomplished all of the things 10 times over that they wanted to. They're waiting for a man to come and tell them what the godly vision is and to be able to confidently submit to him and walk in order. Especially you talk about women that's in the church, they sitting there waiting.
Man. Nell, I can't thank you enough, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me, dog.
Bro. It was, woo.
I appreciate you. I appreciate
a meal.
I appreciate it, man.
We thank you. We love you. We appreciate you, man. Anything you got coming up, you need to tell the people about.
Yeah, that project is popping. That Shake Loose, that single popping.
Yeah,
go copy.
Go copy. Go support. Love.
This is The Deep End with Lecrae.